Here's our final drag topic, where we have a drag race winner who is advising future queens to not appear on future All-Star seasons. And that winner is none other than Babalina, the drag queen. So yeah, she been out here saying that, yeah, don't do it. So having previously ruled out a return to the franchise in April, Bob is now advising other queens to do the same when it comes to editions of the franchise that bring queens from around the world together. He made his most recent comments on his own podcast, Sibling Watchery. In the latest episode, he was joined by my girl, season 8 sister, Naomi Smalls, rather than a Monet Exchange. And I'm going to shout out Naomi because Naomi's been making a lot of appearances on other people's podcasts. Like, I relatively enjoyed her overall fashion reviews that she was doing with Race Chaser. So I've been watching that a lot lately as well. Like, Naomi's been up on there giving, first of all, Naomi has always been that fashion girl. Like, of course, Biggie Smalls, Naomi Campbell have always been like, that's where her drag name comes from. So you already know with Legs for Days, she's going to give you full fashion for herself. So she walks the walk. So when she's going to come out and give critiques on the fashion, I'm going to listen to what she got to say. And she was pretty much on point with a lot of her assessments. So I was liking her over there. And I like her that she's making appearances on here. I think at one point that Naomi was doing her own thing with a podcast, whatever, but I don't know if she was doing it often enough that people cared. Because I would hear little things and then it was like out of sight, out of mind. I would forget and I would just jump on and watch other people's stuff. But I was checking out Naomi, whenever she would post things online. But I just don't think that she's been consistent with the podcast or her own podcast stuff. But anyway, so discussing the record number of queens currently competing on All Stars 10, Bob said that she wanted season 14's Cornbread Jeté to return. And y'all know Cornbread look like a whole other person because Miss Mama lost all that weight. She's skinny, skinnier than Lizzo. And I had to take a double take. I'm like, Harper, who this woman? Because when I looked at her, I'm like, she looked like a whole nother person. So Cornbread out here looking like a snack. Well, she was always a snack, but she looks like even more of a snack. So she said, so they said when a producer chimed in, it was probably when he said when a producer, wait, one does Big Dipper work over there on that show? And probably it doesn't, because I'm sitting there thinking Mom. Because Big Dipper does work on a lot of those shows. I know he works on his show with oh my god, I'm forgetting names. It doesn't matter. So yeah, when a producer chimed in that Cornbread might have been asked to do a versus the world, Bob said, I would never. She said, any queens, if you're being offered versus the world, say no. We have to stop them from even offering it as an option. If you all just keep saying no, they'll stop offering it. So you trying to take food out of people's mouth and tell them to give up on a project? Like, why would you? Here's what I don't understand. Why would you go and tell somebody not to do it versus the world? This is the opportunity for other queens to, make a living. And you're telling them don't do it. What's wrong with the versus the world concept? Anyway, so she says, there is no way you would ever convince me, and I know I won Drag Race, but bitch, if I was Alyssa Summers, this is where she confused Alyssa Edwards with Marina Summers. And sidebar, shout out to Marina Summers, who made history as the first drag queen to appear at Cannes Film Festival. She was at the Cannes Film Festival over the weekend. So I'm like, damn, we making history as the first to go to Cannes? Like, y'all never had a drag queen over there? You can't say the first homosexual because all them faggots running around the Cannes Film Festival. You couldn't tell me they wasn't one up in there. But anyway, so yeah, she said you could not convince me to do it versus the world. Now, when Naomi Smalls asked about Global All Stars, Bob stated that was even worse. Meanwhile, Smalls said she'd do whatever is there. Now, asked by the same producer if Bob would compete for $1 million, Bob laughed, okay, I'm back in, but nothing less. Well, child, you was over there, you could win the traders, but you sitting there telling people not to go on versus the world. Now, Bob didn't offer any explanation for his vehement opposition to Queens doing Global All-Stars or versus the world, but coming in a discussion about the rules of All Stars 10, how many queens are competing, a record-breaking 18 queens, and how that could affect future seasons of All Stars, it suggests Bob thinks there are too many versions of Drag Race, but that is unconfirmed. Well, that's the thing that bothers me about this situation. Like, I feel like if you're going to come out and say that someone should not do a versus the world, saying, I would never, and I would advise other girls to not do it. To me, and I've said this before, I don't know if I've said it on the show or I may have said it to people, but, and I like Bob, and I've interviewed Bob back in the day during his season of Drag Race. However, I do feel like since Bob has become vehemently, very successful, from winning his season to being the MC of Madonna's celebration tour, to being on the Traitors, to all the big projects that they've had, of course, sibling watchery, sibling rivalry, all these other things you have going on. Sometimes I feel like Bob head is up his ass. Like, I feel like your ego has gotten the best of you, and it is giving that. Like, to me, if you're going to sit up here and say, oh, well, I would never do it, and I would advise other queens do it, it's like it's easy for you to say because you won the show. You've been able to parlay your career as a winner into this big career that you have. But to advise people to not go on something because, yes, it provides them. I mean, unfortunately, not everybody's able to stand out like you or Bianca Del Rio or Trixie Mattel or any of these other girls that have been able to parlay huge careers beyond Drag Race. Some of these girls got to keep going on so that way they can get those bookings because, yeah, we are oversaturated with a lot of Drag Race. There's not a lot of clubs that can accommodate these girls. There's only been so many queens y'all got on that damn residency in Vegas. So these, the more shows that y'all create, there's so many queens. It's like how many queens have we had so far that have sashayed into these workrooms? It's got to be over 200, or maybe even more than that. Yeah, it's got to be more than 200. I'm talking about on the American version, but then if you're talking about the international version, these international queens aren't afforded the same opportunities that the American girls are. Yeah, it's a lot more poignant because RuPaul is the biggest drag queen to ever be successful and cross over into many avenues: movies, music, fashion, makeup lines, books, all the things. Ru has been able to dabble in each of the different genres. So I'm not for taking food out of somebody's mouth or as a way for them going to make a living because you've had it good since you left Drag Race. But if you want to talk about there's too many versions of Drag Race, I will agree with that. It is too many damn shows. But also, if you want to refer to how shady production could be to a lot of the talent, maybe you could speak on that. But they said there were some people that didn't like what he said. One person said, Luciana Innocence, said, so easy for an American winner to say. Majority of the girls from international franchises get barely any career boost post-show. So to get an opportunity to go on a season that more people watch is a no-brainer. And Bob goes, where are we going to see it? Baby, go to a bar. Go to a drag bar. So now, then LaFille, who first competed on Drag Race UK season 4 and then returned for the second season of Canada versus the World, said, I really enjoyed the whole process second time around with no pressure. Life's too short to be that neggy about fun opportunities. So I think also when it happens, when you first go on these Drag Race shows, the girls are like, everybody's timid. Nobody knows what to expect. Some people be walking on eggshells trying to self-produce and all that other mess, and then sometimes you don't get their true, authentic self. But
if you have to wipe yourself raw just to get clean, do this. Stuck poop is a pain in the butt, literally. First, you have to strain on the poor.
When it comes down to it, when they go on the Versus the World, when they go on the All Stars, which, sidebar, I did see an announcement yesterday. We didn't get no kind of full information, but we got a Drag Race France All Stars coming. I just saw the advertisement that is all over the thing. No, we don't know who the queens are. I'm sure they leaked whoever's on it, but we got Drag Race All Stars from France coming. So these and France is a very good show. I love France. I like España, and I feel like that's it. Thailand is all right. I mean, all the other ones I don't really watch all that much, but France and España are the two international shows that I really watch. Canada, I'm like, whatever. I don't know, you Canadian queens irritate me. Y'all come across as just a little too chipper, but then also it just gives me fake and phony. And I don't like none of them hosts up there. Brooklyn Heights, I don't care for her. I don't care for Stacey Melco or whatever I'm fucking saying. Brad Goreski gives me fake and phony. So I don't know. I don't particularly, it just don't feel, y'all don't give me authentic when I watch y'all. So, and RuPaul can only do it so many shows before he's worn thin and got to pay all them damn taxes traveling the world. So, well, I can understand where Bob. I mean, well, I can't say I understand because I don't understand where Bob's coming from. I just wish that if you're going to come out and make that blanket of a statement, you need to finish it off as, okay, why wouldn't you personally want to do these type of shows? If it's a way that you're looking out for the queens and things of that nature, then I could understand that. But it didn't seem like that was a place when you were coming. You were just telling people, well, yeah, I won the show already, so I don't need to do Drag Race. I wouldn't do All Stars. I wouldn't do these things. But it's like, yeah, you're successful, so you can't speak on what it's like where some of these girls aren't afforded the same opportunities as you are who aren't getting booked and busy like you are. So I don't think you could speak on those things. So it is, I don't know. I mean, it just felt like it just came from a place of hateration. But there was no hateration or holleration in this dancer race. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you agree with what Bob had to say? But I don't know. I just feel like if you're going to say something and make that type of statement, you need to be clear and just more upfront and be more explanatory in why you feel like these girls should not do these versus the worlds or whatever you want to call it. I would say don't do global all stars because that shit was a hot ass mess. Maybe that's what you was talking about because that wasn't really a versus the world. That was like global all stars, and that was clearly tailor made for Alyssa Edwards to win, not Alyssa Summers. Or what did he say? Oh wait, no, he said Alyssa. What was it? He mixed both the damn names, but it wasn't Alyssa Summers didn't win. It was Alyssa Edwards. So you got your girls confused. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.